Hello. Welcome to Story Time with Captain Party. Today we're going to be reading Chapter 26. Yeah, thanks. Alright. Let's see here. The half-moon looks up at us, reflected in a silver pie tin of beer. Denny and me kneel in somebody's backyard, and Denny kicks away the snails and the slugs with little kicks of his index finger. Denny lifts the pie tin, full to the brim, bringing his reflection and his real face closer and closer until his fake lips meet his own lips. Denny drinks about half the beer and says, "This is how they drink beer in Europe, dude." "Out of slug traps?" "No, dude," Denny says. He hands me the pie tin and says, "Flat and warm." I kiss my own reflection, and I drink the moon watching over my shoulder. And on the sidewalk, waiting for us, is a baby stroller with its wheels splayed out wider at the bottom than at the top. The pink of the stroller, the bottom of the stroller drags against the ground, and wrapped in a pink baby blanket is a boulder of sandstone too big for Denny or me to lift. A pink rubber baby head is balanced inside the top edge of the blanket. "About having sex in church," Denny says. "Tell me you didn't." "It's not so much that I didn't, it's that I couldn't. Couldn't bone, couldn't shaft, couldn't drill, core, screw, all those euphemisms that aren't. Denny and me, we're just two regular guys taking the baby out for a stroll at midnight. Just a couple of nice young guys in this fine neighborhood of big houses, each set back on its lawn. All these houses with their self-contained, climate-controlled, smug illusion of security. Denny and me, we're about as innocent as a tumor. We're about as harmless as a psilocybin toadstool. This is such a fine neighborhood. Even the beer they leave out for the animals is imported from Germany or Mexico. We hop the fence into the next backyard and snoop under the plants for our next round. Ducking to look under the leaves and the bushes, I say, "Dude," I say, "you don't think I'm a good-hearted person, do you?" And then he says, "Oh, God, hell no, dude." And after a few blocks, all those backyards of beer, I know Denny's being honest, and I say, "You don't think I'm really secretly sensitive or a Christ-like manifestation of perfect love or something?" "No way, dude," Denny says. "You're an asshole." And I say, thanks, just checking." And then he stands up using his legs in slow motion, and with a pie tin in between his hands. And there's another reflection of the night sky. And then he says, "Bingo, dude." About me in the church, I tell him. I'm more disappointed in God than in myself. He should have hammered me with a lightning bolt. I mean, God's God, right? I'm just an asshole. I didn't even take off Paige Marshall's clothes. Still, with her stethoscope around her neck dangling between her breasts, I pushed her back on the altar, and I didn't even take off her lab coat. The stethoscope against her own chest, she said. "Go fast," she said. "I want you to stay in sync with my heart. It's not fair how a woman never has to think of shit to keep from coming. And me, I just couldn't already. That Jesus idea was just killing my heart on." Denny hands me the beer, and I drink it. Denny spits out a dead slug and says, "Better drink through your teeth here, dude." And even in a church, even laid up on the altar, without her clothes, Dr. Paige Marshall, I didn't want her to become just another piece of ass. Because nothing is as perfect as you can imagine it. because nothing is as exciting as your fantasy. Breathe in, and then out. Dude, Denny says, this has got to be my nightcap. Let's get the rock and head home. And I say, just one more block, okay? Just one more round of backyards. I'm not drunk enough to forget my day. This is such a fine neighborhood. I jump the fence to the next backyard and I land on my head in somebody's rose bush, and somewhere a dog's barking. And the whole time we're up at the altar, me trying to get my dog hard, and the cross polished and the blonde wood was looking down on us. No tortured man, no crown of thorns, no flies circling, no sweat, no stink, no blood and suffering, not in this church. No rain of blood, no plague of locusts. Paige, the whole time with a stethoscope in her ears, just listening to her own heart. And the angels on the ceiling were painted over, and the light through the stained glass window was thick and gold and swimming with dust. And the light fell in a thick, solid shaft, a warm, heavy shaft that spilled right on us. Attention, please. Would Dr. Freud please pick up the white courtesy telephone? A world of symbols, not the real world. Denny looks at me, stuck and bleeding from the rose thorns, my clothes ripped, lying in a bush, and says, okay, I mean it, he says. This is for sure the last call. The smell of roses, the smell of incontinence at St. Anthony's. A dog is barking and scratching to get out the back door of the house. A light comes on in the kitchen to show somebody in the window. Then a back porch light comes on, and it's amazing how fast I tear my ass out of that bush and run to the street. Coming the other way on the sidewalk are a couple, leaned together and walking with an arm around each other. The woman rubs her cheek on the man's lapel, and the man kisses the crown of her head. Denny's already pushing the stroller so fast the front wheels catch on the sidewalk crack, and the baby's rubber head pitches out, glass eyes staring wide open, and the pink head bounces past the happy couple and rolls into the gutter. To me, Denny says, dude, you want to fetch that for me? My clothes shredded and gummy with blood, thorns stuck in my face. I trot past the couple and I nab the head out of the leaves in the trash. The man yelps and he pulls back, and the woman says, Victor? Victor Mancini? Oh my God! She must have saved my life, because I don't know who the hell she is. And in the chapel, after I gave up, after we were buttoning our clothes shut, I said to Paige, forget fetal tissue, forget resenting strong women, I say. You want to know the real reason why I won't fuck you? And doing up the buttons in my britches, I told her, maybe the truth is, I really just want to like you instead. And with both hands above her head, making her black hair braid tight again, Paige said, maybe sex and affection are not mutually exclusive. And I laughed, my hands tying my cravat. I told her, yes, they are. Denny and me, we get to the 700 block of the street sign that says Birch Street. To Denny, pushing the stroller, I say, wrong way, dude, and I point behind us and say, my mom's house is back there. Denny keeps pushing the bottom of the stroller, making a growling sound against the sidewalk, and the happy couple are drop-jawed, still watching us from 2 blocks away. I trot along next to him, tossing the pink doll head from hand to hand. Dude, I say, turn back around. And Denny says, we have to see the 800 block first. What's there? Well, it's supposed to be nothing, Denny says. My Uncle Don used to own it. The houses end, and the 800 block is just a land with more houses on the block after that. The land is just tall grass, planted around the edges with old apple trees, their barks all wrinkled and twisting up in the darkness, and inside a bunch of brush, blackberry whips and scrubs, more thorns on every twig. The middle of the land is clear. On the corner is a billboard sign, plywood, painted white, with a picture across the top of red brick houses built against each other, and people waving from windows with flower boxes. Under the houses, black words say, coming soon, Meddingtown country townhouses. Under the billboard, the ground snowed with peeling paint chips. Up close, the billboard is curling. The brick townhouses are cracked and faded pink. Denny tips the boulder out of the stroller and it lands in the tall grass behind the sidewalk. He shakes out the pink blanket and hands me 2 corners, and between us we fold it, and Denny says, "If you can have the opposite of a role model, that'd be my Uncle Don." And then Denny flops the folded blanket into the stroller and starts to push the stroller toward home. And I call after him, "Dude, you don't want this rock?" And Denny says, "Those Mothers Against Drunk Driving? For sure. They threw a party when they found out old Don Menning was dead." Wind lifts and crushes the tall grass. Nobody but plants live here now, and across the dark center of the block you can see the porch lights of houses on the other side. The black zigzags of old apple trees are outlines in between. So I go, "Is this a park or what?" And Denny says, "Not really." Still walking away, he says, "It's mine." And I pitch the doll hat at him and say, "For real?" "Yeah, since my folks called a couple days ago," he says. And he catches the head and he drops it into the stroller. Under the streetlights, past everybody's dark houses, we walk. My buckle shoes flashing and my hands stuck in my pockets to say, "Dude," I say, "you don't really think I'm anything like Jesus Christ, do you?" I say, "Please, no." And we walk. And pushing his empty stroller, Denny says, "Face it, dude. You nearly did sex on God's table. You're already shame-spiraling big time." We walk, and the beer's wearing off, and it's a surprise how the night air is so cold. And I say, "Please, dude, tell me the truth. I'm not a good, kind, and caring person or any of that happy horse shit. I'm nothing but a thoughtless, brain-dead loser, dude. That I can live with. This is who I am. Just a puss-pounding, seam-reaming, dog-driving, fucking helpless sex addict asshole, and I can't ever let myself forget that." I say, Tell me again that I'm an insensitive asshole." That is chapter 26. And I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time.